What is going on, guys? It's your boy, Eddie, and welcome to the first ever episode of Behind the Pages. This is a podcast that I'm doing to talk about my project that's coming out on April 14th called The Book of Worship. And so, in this podcast, I just wanted to go over the inspiration for some of the songs, as well as what I think worship is to me, because I want to one clarify that, and two, I think it's important that we have a clear view of what worship really is. Because a lot of people get so caught up in the music aspect of it that we don't really understand what worship is. And so, first of all, just kind of give you a little background about this project. I believe the Lord gave me a vision for a few projects set over the next year or two, called the Psalmist series. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make this series is because I think it's very important that we are authentic with God. Because a lot of times we're very, what is the word? Like we're fake. Like like we're really rigid and, oh, I don't want to say this because what if God thinks that, or I don't want to ask this question because what if God thinks that. And if you look at people like David and Jeremiah and Elijah, they were very, very honest with God and in the things that they felt and the things that they said, and their emotions towards God. And I think it's important that we realize that God isn't just our God, He's also our Father, and He's also our friend, and He's our confidant, and He's our counselor. And when you talk to counselors, you're open with them about how you feel, because truth be told, God already knows everything about you, and you hiding it from Him is the same as Adam hiding from God when he asked him, where are you, Adam? And Adam was like, I'm gonna hide from God. We hid in the bushes because we knew we were naked. And God was like, I already knew you knew you were naked, man. I needed you to be honest with me rather than trying to hide from me. And I think it's important that we understand that as children of God. We are servants, but we're also children, and He wants to hear our thoughts. So I got the Psalmist series because David is who I'm referencing, and David was extremely open and sincere about how he felt concerning the things that God had him do. And so I got the idea for the series, and then I got the idea of a book because I'm currently writing a book, and I've always wanted to write a book, and it's going by slowly, but I think that's kind of my fault. But I feel like people share their most intimate thoughts in books, and they share intimate thoughts in a way that people don't know that they're sharing those intimate thoughts, and I just picked the book of Psalms because that's how it came up. And then also the Psalms is a collection of books as well, and it's a collection of different Psalms from different people, several different authors in the book of Psalms, not just David, but Moses, Solomon, the sons of Korah, various authors in the book of Psalms. So I think it's really cool that I wanted to write these projects that are based off of emotions, and I wanted to write them in the form of books. But as I'm talking, I feel like I've talked a lot, but let's get into the book of worship specifically. And just going back to worship, a lot of people think that it's a slow song to God, or it's a ballad to God, or it's I don't know, it's It's just a song to God. But most instances in the Bible, actually, I want to say all instances in the Bible where it talks about worship, I'll say most, I won't be presumptuous, but most instances in the Bible when it talks about worship, it has nothing to do with music. It's a recognition of who God is, and modern day we attach it to the slow songs and thinking that slow songs are worship to God, but it's a recognition of who God is. And not only that, it's a revelation from him about who he is. And so these groups of songs that I wrote for this particular project, it's a recognition of who God is. This particular one that's playing, Captured by You, and I did a video on that. I did a live video on it that I released a couple of weeks ago. So if you wanted to check that out, I will leave it in the comments, and I will post it somewhere to where you can find the link. But Captured by You is an expression of who God is to me, and this is actually the song that's playing. But it's an expression of who God is to me, and that expression of who God is to me, that revelation of who God is to me in this song came as a result of personal experience, intimacy with God, crying before God, being vulnerable before God, where he had to reveal himself to me in ways that had to be personal. And I got through a lot of tough times in my life with him revealing with these revelations of who he is to me. And then Captured by You also is when God reveals himself, specifically during the time of worship. It's like your soul attaches to him, and it's attached to him, but just hear what I'm saying. Like, it's like he grabs you just as you're reaching for him, and it's like he's just ready. Like when you tap in and he shows up, he's ready for you. You don't have to pump and prime God. He's ready for you. He's ready for a willing heart. And he grabs you and he holds you and he tells you, this is who I am to you. I'm your deliverer. I'm your peace. I'm your joy. I'm your protection. And then he starts getting into like who he is. I am greatness. I am awesome. I am wonderful. I am magnificent. That is worship. And then you're so overwhelmed, but you're also so satisfied that you don't want to leave. And that's the premise behind Captured by You. I did a poem called Lost. And essentially the poet, or the person I'm the poet, but the perspective of the person is, he is wandering in this cavern, both surrounded by God and in search of him. Because God is so vast that you can get so caught up in worship that it's hard to find your way back out. And that's the heart behind this song, and that was the heart behind that poem. So I think we need to remember in worship to allow God to reveal himself. Because there are times in worship where God, he does all the talking and you don't have to say anything. And that's happened a couple of times with me where he just does all the talking, or he just sits, like his presence just sits. Sometimes it's good to just be quiet and let him reveal himself. Anyway, this project, again, it's called The Psalmist, the Book of Worship. And I hope you guys were blessed by it, are blessed by it when it comes out, and it comes out April 14th. But I'm going to end this podcast with this. Don't get so caught up in the words that you're saying to God that you don't let him say something back to you. Because remember, it's a conversation. Worship is a conversation. It's him. It's you being open and talking to him, telling him who he is to you. And then it's him affirming it and telling you more about who he is. So allow yourself to be captured by him. Allow yourself to be captured by him. Anyway, again, guys, this song here is Captured by You from the upcoming project of The Psalmist, Volume 1, the Book of Worship, coming out April 14th, 2023. Thank you guys for listening to Behind the Pages, and I'll see you next time.